Have you ever talked to someone who spoke super fast and you couldn't understand anything that they were saying because they were speaking a little fast and maybe they had an accent, right? Now, that wasn't even really that fast. But have you ever talked to someone who spoke really fast? Do you speak really fast? Some people like speaking fast. Some people feel like when they speak fast, it makes them sound more intelligent. While in some circles, some people may believe that this is true, but there are other people in that same circle who speak dynamically, which is a combination of fast and slow. I'm going to do a whole series on dynamic speech, but I'm going to talk about dynamic speech today, actually. That when you speak dynamically and more deliberately, you can garner, right? You can get and obtain and have and capture more attention. So you don't have to speak super fast. Probably don't need to speak super slow either because you can lose people's attention. But if you've ever been around someone that speaks really, really fast, it can be mentally draining, right? I talked about this in the first video. It's like they're fire hosing you with information. Not everyone that speaks fast is clear, but there are many people who speak fast who are very clear. They can enunciate very well. They can articulate very well, even speaking fast. But does that mean that you should speak fast? When people speak fast, sometimes it feels like it's an overload, right? It might be great information. It might be very inspiring and inspirational and expressive. But even then, it can overload some listeners because it's just coming at them like a fire hose. So they don't have the chance to process the information, to digest the information, or they're using a lot of processing power to listen to it, to stay tuned in. So it's very easy for them to kind of get distracted and tune out a little bit. Okay. So there are some great benefits to doing this next thing, which is what we've kind of just been talking about it, right? Slowing down. And I'm going to give you some tips on how to slow down, right? Some tips on how to slow your speech down. And these tips will be extremely helpful because there's different ways to slow your speech down. And we'll talk about the benefits of slowing your speech down. But when you don't slow down and you're speaking quickly, you often are doing it, or some people do it because they feel like they want to hurry up and get their words out. They want to hurry up and get their thoughts out before they get stuck, or they want to do it because they don't want to lose the other person's attention. If they're in a group, they're in an audience, people are speaking, they want to hurry up and get the words out so they can hold attention, they can get attention. They need to hurry up and get this out. If you struggle with your speech, then you feel like you just need to rush through it and get it out. Right? So those are some of the reasons why people, again, they might feel pressured, might feel overwhelmed. And when you do, you're going to be more prone to making mistakes if you're speaking really fast. The other thing that happens when people are speaking fast is it can result in mispronunciations. It can result in stuttering, a lack of clarity, and the use of what? More filler words. And again, I've been studying this for more than a decade now, and I've coached people tens of thousands of hours, right? And I've studied and I've seen this happen. So when people are speaking really fast, they tend to throw in and use more filler words. Ums, uhs, likes. I often use so. And there are lots of other ones as well. When you are speaking fast, you can't catch yourself. You can't stop using filler words if you're speaking too fast because it's just automatic, it's natural. You're trying to find something to fill that gap, to fill the space. So it's very difficult to reduce or eliminate the use of filler words or certain filler words when you're speaking really fast. So let's just talk about some of the reasons why you might want to slow your speech down. When you slow your speech down, you're able to articulate your thoughts more clearly, right? When you slow your speech down, you'll find that you feel more in control. Remember, when I say slow, I'm not talking about dragging your speech the whole time. I'm talking about dynamic speech. And remember, I said I was going to talk about that. So let me just make sure that I put this up here so I don't forget, right? Talk about dynamic speech. And we're talking about how to slow your speech down, some methods. But when you slow your speech down, you're able to articulate your thoughts more clearly. You feel more relaxed in general. You feel more in control because you also have air that allows you to slow your speech down and control your pacing, control your flow, okay? When you slow your speech down, you're also benefiting the audience because you're giving them time to absorb the information. You're not fire hosing them so that they feel more relaxed, they feel more calm. I can't tell you how many people have told me, I literally can't tell you because it's been so many over the years, said, Michael, when we listen to you, we feel calm, we feel more relaxed. Now, there are some people who say, Michael, you speak too doggone slow. I just can't listen to you. And that's okay. That's perfectly fine. But there are a lot of people that say, well, you make me feel more calm. You make me feel more relaxed. I can actually listen to you for hours and hours. I had a guy, one of my clients, who says, it's really hard for me to sit and to listen to people because my mind goes fast. And it's just really hard for me to stay focused and listen to someone for a long period of time, but I can listen to you. I can sit and I can listen to your audios for hours. Why is this? Well, it's not because I'm speaking super slow, even though it may appear that way to some people. I'm actually speaking dynamically, again, which we'll talk about. So my point is, when you slow your speech down, there's a huge benefit to your audience. So when people want to hear you, when they want to listen to you, when they feel good, when they feel relaxed and calm, guess what? They trust you more, and they're more likely to be persuaded and influenced by you when they trust you and they want to listen to you. If it's difficult to listen to you, then they don't want to listen to you. And therefore, they probably are not going to trust you as much, and they're probably not going to want to be as influenced and persuaded by you. I hope this makes sense. All right. So very important. Some of the major benefits of speaking slowly. If you have an accent, and we all have accents, if you're from someplace else, I have an accent to you, and you probably have an accent to me. We are working more and more in a global economy, and therefore it's important that we're all able to understand each other. But that doesn't mean that you have to lose your accent, because you don't. What you have to do is be clear. You can retain your accent, just be clear. So this leads me to some of the ways that you can actually slow your speech down, and we call these proactive speaking techniques. I'm just going to give you a few. One we call articulate. Another one, and articulate, some people will call this enunciate, right? We call it articulate. Another one is extending your words, or prolonging or elonging your words. Another one is inflecting, emphasizing, which includes inflecting, extending. There's another one that we call over-articulating. Don't want to spend too much time on that, so I'm not really going to put that one there. But these are some of the major ones. Inflecting, emphasizing includes a lot. Articulating, over-articulating, extending. We also talk about blending, but in this case here, we're not going to spend much time on blending your words, although that helps create smooth speech. But the key ones that I want to talk about now would be articulating and extending. So if you want to slow your speech down, and also pausing, right? So we talked about pausing more. Not pausing so much that your speech is choppy, but just pausing more often, which will slow your speech down. But when you articulate, what we mean when we say articulate is that you open and use your mouth more, your jaws, your teeth, your tongue, right? Your face. Use your mouth more, use your speaking system to enunciate the words. What else? How else can you articulate? Well, you can do what we call finishing. Finish your words, finishing your words. So we can actually put that one down here too, because that can be a separate one if we want, but it's absolutely related to this. Finishing your words simply means listening for the endings of your words, saying the entire word. Now, not over articulating so that I'm not saying words like this, because that sounds strange. You don't want to do that. But I can say, I'm not saying words like this. See, I can hear the endings of most of my words. Now, you might not hear the endings of every single word, but what's happening is as you push yourself, as you become more aware and conscious of listening for the endings of your words, while you also blend those words together so it doesn't sound like this, so it doesn't sound like this, but I'm finishing the word. I'm finishing the word so I can hear the D, I can hear the S, I can hear the ing. I'm finishing the word, and as I finish the word, I complete the word. What is it doing? Well, it's helping me to enunciate, it's helping me to articulate, it's helping me to sound more clear, whether you have an accent or not, right? You sound more clear. Even if you didn't say the word exactly like that person would say it, they can still understand it because you said the whole word and you said it as clearly as possible. So you want to articulate by finishing the word. How do you finish the word? You listen for the endings of the word. You listen for the ending of that word as you blend it together, right? So when you do this, it has an overall effect of slowing your speech down, right? And or making your speech at least dynamic. So what do I mean when I say dynamic? Well, the word dynamic means changing, fast and slow. It means changing, something that changes. In this case, we're talking about your pacing, your rate of speech, and we're talking about it changing. So not staying slow the whole time and not staying fast the whole time. We're talking about it changing from fast to slow, fast to slow, fast to slow. So what happens is when you incorporate pauses, you incorporate emphasizing, which can include extending, like I'm doing now. I'm emphasizing by extending a word. I'm emphasizing this word by also inflecting on that word. So I'm inflecting on this word and I'm extending on this word. Right? Now, you're not going to do that for every word or even a lot of words, but some words you want to emphasize, which slows your speech down. So I said some words, pause, some words, pause. What did I do? I slowed my speech down. I emphasized the word words. I paused before and I paused after. I somewhat over-articulated some words. I inflected on that word. I extended it. So I emphasized that word, but it also had the effect of slowing my speech down. So I highlighted that word, right, so to make it pop, but I also slowed my speech down. So therefore, some of the ways that you can slow your speech down would be to focus on one of these. You don't have to focus on all of them at the same time. You can just focus on articulating, finishing your words, right? Blending them so it sounds smooth. Articulating can help you speak more clearly and slow your speech down. You can focus on extending more of your words, extending more so they're not short, but extending. And we often combine extending with blending so it doesn't sound weird. Extending more of your words. That sounds a little weird. So you can extend and blend your words. This can help you slow your speech down. Inflecting can, but usually when it's combined with emphasizing. So when you emphasize something, you're going to pause either before or after or both. You're going to highlight that word, but it also is like a pause. It's like a little pause, and it helps you slow your speech down, right? And finishing is related to that. So dynamic speech is speech that's changing. It's fast and then it slows back down. It's fast and it slows back down. And you maintain that fast and slow, so that, yes, you don't lose attention, you're engaging, but you're also slowing your speech down by changing your pacing, right? By changing your pacing. So when you speak dynamically, you're inflecting, you're emphasizing, you're articulating, you're also using body language, facial expressions, hand gestures, smiling, head tilting, moving. Right now, I'm not moving a whole lot because I don't have a lot of space here. But if I were in an audience, I would be walking around. I wouldn't be just kind of pacing around, right? I would be moving with a purpose. I would move, make a point, come into the audience, make a point, come back here. So you're using your whole body for dynamic speech when you're speaking. When you use your hands, it can help you slow your speech down. It's really hard to move your hands and speak super fast, kind of like this, and move your hands. So when you're moving your hands are helping you conduct your speech. Now, let me give you a final way, which is a little more generic, but a final way that you can slow your speech down. And for some people, this works well. I'll give you two ways. They're both related. One is to simply remind yourself in that cognitive breathing space in the pause to slow down. Slow down, take your time, relax. You don't have to rush. Telling yourself, this is that self-talk. How do you slow down? One way is to just tell yourself, slow down, take your time. You don't have to rush. Just relax, stay calm, be calm. You talk to yourself. What's another way? Well, some people just telling themselves to slow down is not enough. They actually have to say, speak super slow, like go super slow. And when they tell themselves to go super slow, they end up speaking slower. Now remember, I'll keep reminding you, when I say slow down, I'm not talking about dragging your speech. The only time that you want to go super slow and that you might want to extend most of your words is if you're in a high pressure speaking situation and when you get started, right? So you're in a high pressure speaking situation. When you get started, you might want to go super slow for the first several words, or the first minute or 30 seconds, whatever it is. That may be the time when you want to go super slow and you want to breathe, right? So that you can gain control, you can slow your heart rate down. I'm packing a lot of stuff in here, but these are all ways for you, all ways and reasons for you to slow your speech down, all right, when you get started. Or even if it's not high pressure, but if you struggle to kind of get started, you may want to slow your speech down when you get started and not just jump in. Let me give you another benefit of all of these things, kind of the pausing, inhaling, exhaling, but specifically pausing and slowing down, is when you do that, it also gives the other person a chance to respond. So if you're talking to someone and you're listening and they're speaking, well, before you respond, if you pause, you take a breath and you start slow, you've given them a chance to continue, to respond, to finish what they're saying, right? You've given them a chance when you just pause, when you pause. And then when you initiate whatever it is that you want to say, if you've paused and you start kind of slow, then often you'll find it's easier for you to get started speaking easier. Okay, so I hope that this was helpful. We talked about some specific ways that you can slow your speech down, any of these or all of these. We also talked a little bit about dynamic speech, how you change your pacing fast to slow. You're emphasizing, you're often over-articulating some words in dynamic speech. And we also talked about how to exhale and see that when you're breathing out through your mouth, you're seeing the airflow, you're watching those words ride the air. We talked about the reason that you need to practice inhaling through your nose so you can become more conscious that you're breathing. You can take in more air. We talked about the necessity to keep reserves, your air reserves, so you don't let all your air out and then try to speak. And we talked about the power and the importance of pausing. So I hope this has been helpful. Just remember, everything that we've talked about today, there's data out there, there's research out there that shows that it works. We've seen it with tens of thousands of people, tens of thousands of hours. More than a decade I've been doing this, coaching people. Prior to that, I was a speaker, a teacher, a preacher, I was a professor, always speaking. Grew up as a stutterer for the first 30 years or so of my life. So I understand exactly what that feels like. So what we're sharing with you really works, and we're seeing incredible results. I have a client who just told me the other day that he hasn't even been doing all of the other things that we've talked about, but just by reminding himself to slow down, he's gotten amazing results in his conversations, in his interviews, and so forth and so on. So this stuff really works. Thank you so much for watching this video. I encourage you to go back and watch all the other videos as well. We'll see you next time. We hope that you will engage us, either working with us one-on-one or engage us in our virtual Speech Masters Club, where you can actually come practice what you're learning under pressure, but in a safe environment, and get real-time feedback. Thank you so much. My name is Michael Williams, and we'll see you soon.